Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to be doing a hypnosis to go deep into your subconscious to release the inner critic and self-sabotaging habits. Before we begin, I want to be very, very clear. I am not one of those raw vegans that believe in juice cleansing, juice fasting, juice feasting, water fasting, water feasting. Is anybody feasting on water out there? Breatharianism and things like that. I do not believe in 1 meal a day. I do not believe in restricting your fruit, vegetables, nuts, or seeds for at least 5 years. So that means I do not recommend restriction of fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds for the first 5 years of being raw. If you do this, you are setting yourself up to self-sabotage. So let me be clear. There's a lot of raw vegans out there. There's a lot of raw vegan YouTubers and influencers that promote juice fasting and mono meal cleanses where you just eat watermelon for 30 days or 7 days, or you just drink juice for 40 days. And this does not work. It never will work. And let me backtrack. Okay, it might work for 1% of the population. Maybe. But for the other 99% of people, this is the way that you are going to be sabotaging yourself. You're going to start a cleanse or a juice fast, and most likely, 99% likely, you are going to get so hungry that you are going to eat unhealthy foods instead of just allowing yourself to eat apples and watermelon and mangoes and salads and avocado and zucchini and peppers. And do you see what I'm saying? This is absolutely insane to go on a juice cleanse before you know how to eat a healthy raw vegan diet. You don't learn how to eat a raw vegan diet by following a juice cleanse. I've been raw for 15 years, but like really raw. I have not fallen off, not once. I have not eaten a processed food or a dead animal body part in 15 years. Nothing unhealthy has come to my lips. Pause. No, nothing unhealthy has touched my lips in 15 years. So when I give you this advice, I really want you to take this advice. I really want you to run with it, okay? If after 5 years of eating raw, you want to restrict and you want to lower your fat and you want to, eat, you want to experiment and you don't want to eat any nuts or seeds, you can do that after 5 years. Trust me, you'll have a very steady, very strong root foundation of eating raw that you'll not be susceptible to processed foods or cooked foods. Okay? Or if you want to eat cooked food, there's really nothing wrong with cooked food. What food are we talking about? Rice is not the same as a sweet potato. Rice is extremely mucus forming. And if you're a food addict and your addiction is rice, then you have no business eating rice ever again. If rice makes you feel unhealthy or out of control, or you binge on rice, then rice doesn't belong in your diet. Everyone is different, and it will depend on what makes you feel good, what works for you, and what doesn't work for you. A lot of raw vegans have eating disorders, unfortunately, and they come to the raw food lifestyle to hide their eating disorder. That's what a lot of these raw vegan YouTubers are doing. They're not here to heal and be healthy. They're here in the movement to continue their eating disorders. And it's very sad because they're influencing other people. And when other people don't have that specific eating disorder, what happens is they can't do the 40-day juice cleanse. They can't do the 30 or 100-day watermelon fast. And so they sabotage. They self-sabotage. And they eat food because they're starving, they're hungry. I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you if you've ever gone on a juice cleanse or a fast of any kind and you fell off because you were hungry, you were starving. Everything in your body, every cell in your body was screaming, I'm hungry, I'm starving, please feed me. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just a human. And humans need calories. We need healthy calories, but when you starve yourself, your brain goes into panic mode. You enter fight or flight. And if you don't have an eating disorder, then you will eat. You will. So I just wanted to preface by saying that we're going to do this hypnosis to release the inner critic and the self-sabotaging habits but it's twofold. You have to allow yourself to eat as much fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds as you'd like. And if you absolutely need and really, really, really want to eat warm food, there is nothing wrong with eating warm, healthy food. Here's what I would recommend. If you absolutely really want to eat cooked food, let's do it. Go ahead. But I want you to only cook things that you can eat raw. So have some baked apples, have some steamed bananas, have some sauteed mushrooms and peppers and kale and carrots. Saute it with water, or you could steam it, or you could bake a sweet potato. Sweet potatoes you can't eat raw. So that's the second step, okay? So the first option is to eat a raw vegan diet. Try it out. You don't like it? If you really hate cold food, well, keep your food outside the fridge, first of all. If you hate freezing cold food, take your food out at least an hour before you're going to eat it. It's not going to be freezing cold. Okay, that's category 1. Category 2 is you can have a healthy, high raw vegan diet where you eat as much fresh, raw food as possible. And then, whenever you want, you have cooked food. But the cooked food is comprised of only foods that you can eat raw. So peppers and mushrooms and beets and carrots and kale and spinach, chard, all these foods you can eat raw. So cook them. This has worked out so good for a lot of my clients. The third category, if you try the high raw vegan diet that I'm recommending and you still don't like it, okay, you can go on to the third and the final category of a healthy high raw vegan diet that includes things that you can't eat raw. So things from the produce department, things that are found in nature, things that are not in any way unhealthy and don't make you feel, okay, here's the key, don't make you feel out of control. So sweet potatoes, squashes, remember squashes are a fruit. Anything with a seed is a fruit. Zucchinis and things like that. Produce department food. Really, the only thing we're adding in category 3 that's not in category 2 is sweet potatoes and squashes. The problem is that if you eat, and we're cooking these things with no salt and no oil, because of course you probably know that processed sugar, salt, and oil are the 3 most addictive substances on this earth. So you really, as a former food addict, you really need to stay away from those 3 things. If you want to heal, you want to lose weight, and you want to be healthy for life, you have to stay away from those 3 things. Processed sugar, table salt, and oil. Any kind of oil. In my personal opinion, it doesn't belong in a healthy, raw, or high raw vegan diet. But if it works for you, then do you boo. I'm just sharing what has not worked for me and what has not worked for most of the fruity cuties I've worked with over the years. So what you're going to do is you're going to be careful in the third category. If you include things like sweet potatoes and squashes and you still aren't happy on a raw food diet, what I recommend is you really look at the situation here. Are you still trying to use food for anything other than fuel? And is that food serving you? So if you can eat, a little bit of rice in your salad and you're totally fine, then keep doing that. Do that. If you can eat white potatoes in your salad, which of course, by the way, you always, always, always want to eat cooked food with raw food. So I would recommend cooked food for lunch or dinner in a big salad because raw food has live enzymes and cooked food does not. So raw food is going to help you digest and cooked food is going to slow down your digestion and cause constipation. Okay? And of course, constipation is the first stage of all disease. So we don't want constipation in the body. Also, when you're constipated, you will definitely look older than you are. So stay away from things that make you constipated. That's why fruit is so healing because it moves through your body very quickly and easily. So you need to decide and write out and really set your boundaries with yourself on what foods serve you and what foods do not serve you. Because everyone's going to be different. Someone can eat sweet potatoes in their salad and they'll be totally fine. And the next person will say, well, sweet potatoes lead me to eating rice, which leads me to eating McDonald's. So therefore, sweet potatoes are not food that you can eat. Okay, let it go. And write a list of all the foods you can eat and you love. all the healthy foods that you absolutely love that also love you back. The biggest part of this program is to learn how to eat in a way that serves you and no longer self-sabotages you. Yes, water fasting looks good on paper. Yes, the stem cells start to regenerate after 72 hours and this and that, and there's so many benefits on paper. Healing just goes through the roof, on paper. But in reality, okay, to a actual practitioner of the raw food diet, water fasting doesn't work because 99.9999999% of people that go on a water fast eat unhealthy food afterwards, whether immediately or a week later or a month later or a year later. And those unhealthy foods, they affect you even more after a water fast. It causes so much more damage because now your cells are more clean and more clear, and the unhealthy food, the toxins and the chemicals, they go deeper into your cells, causing severe health problems immediately or in the near future. So you never want to do a water fast or a juice fast unless you're extremely sick. If you're extremely sick and every time you eat, you throw up, not on purpose, every time you eat, I have to say that because some raw vegan YouTubers are going to be listening to this. So, okay. Every time you try to eat, you can't. Your body is saying, no, I cannot eat because you're sick, because your throat hurts, or you just had jaw surgery, or, you went to the dentist. Unless you are sick and unable to eat, there is no reason and there is no benefits to doing a juice fast or a water fast. And if you are someone who you did a juice fast 40 years ago and you've been raw, you've been healthy, and you've eaten no unhealthy food for the last 40 years, then you, congratulations, here's a raw vegan cookie, you are part of the exception to the rule. But we cannot live by exceptions. We have to live by the rule. And the rule is you don't restrict yourself in the beginning of a raw food diet. You should never restrict yourself unless it serves you, unless it's going to serve you for the higher purpose of your health. It doesn't serve you to restrict because then you binge, then you get so hungry that you're uncontrollable around cooked food and unhealthy processed foods. And that would be the worst thing. The body likes consistency, not up and down and up and down. Thank you so much for listening. If you are listening on YouTube, then we are about to start a hypnosis. And if you'd like to find out more information about my 30-day weight loss hypnosis course, then you can click below. I have a link below that takes you to a special discount just for being here on YouTube with me. And I will tell you everything about the course. It's 30 days. You get a hypnosis to your inbox every single day from me. And there's lots of bonuses as well. And I think you will really enjoy it. If you like my content, if you resonate with me, if you're not interested in restricting or forming an eating disorder, if you're not here to hide your eating disorder with a raw food diet, then I'm your girl. I really do feel bad. I feel so bad for these raw vegans that have eating disorders, but it makes me angry because the raw food diet has saved my life. It's the healthiest way to eat on the planet. And the people that have eating disorders, they are ruining the potential of this movement. And I'm very protective over the raw food diet because it has healed me. It has helped me. I have lost over 70 pounds now. Okay, I have never gained it back. I've released my chronic fatigue, back pain, knee pain, eczema, acne, IBS, migraines, and so much more that I used to suffer with. And I don't want anyone else on this planet missing out on a raw food diet because they're trying to do it like someone who has an eating disorder who's not actually eating raw. A juice cleanse and a water fast have no place in the raw food diet. If you're on a juice fast, if you're doing a water cleanse, you're not eating raw. I'm letting you know this right now. You're sabotaging yourself to eat unhealthy foods in the future. And if you're that exception to the rule, then congratulations, here's a cookie. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to most people listening. So I'd love, prove me wrong. Email me, let me know. It's been 40 years or more. And I can think of one person that I honestly believe and trust is raw, and he does water fasts and he does juice cleanses, and his name is Dr. Fred Bishi. And I do not believe that he did those in the beginning. You know, this man is in his 90s. He's been raw for over 55 years, and he's one of my biggest mentors. But just because he's a mentor of mine doesn't mean that I take all of his advice. Same thing with me and you. If you resonate with a lot of things I say, but there's something I say that you don't agree with, then take the best and leave the rest. And that's all we're asking here, because at some point you have to know that you are your own individual person, and what is going to work for me might not work for you, and vice versa. And you're your own individual universe. You have 4 trillion cells, and only you know what works for you. So like I said, if a raw food diet doesn't work for you, maybe a healthy, high raw vegan diet will work for you. And if that doesn't work, then add in the sweet potatoes and the squashes. If that doesn't work for you, then ask yourself, am I eating out of addiction or am I eating for health? Because every time we're eating and it's not for health, we're eating out of addiction. We're using food for something else. We're using food as a drug to numb us, to help us deal with life. And a lot of people actually use restriction as a way to numb and deal with life. And so you're taking advice from people that are hiding their eating disorders instead of going to therapy, instead of working with a specialist, instead of healing their eating disorders. They are trying to fix an internal problem with an external solution, and that never works. That's why they keep falling off. That's why they keep needing a reset or a new cleanse or a new fast, because they've eaten unhealthy foods. I don't cleanse and I don't fast because what am I cleansing from? What am I fasting from? I don't need it. I have nothing that I've done wrong, so I don't need to punish myself. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.